I'm Fredy Becerra and I will present you some important concept extract from International Economic course. The International Economic course starts with the history of international trade, where in the 18th century the main economic issue was the oligarchic regime, which was dominated by agriculture. The industry was in background and did not exist in the national market, therefore a high grade of sufficiency. The Industrial Revolution, the capacity to buy and survive in the liberalist paradigm, was the main issue in the 19th century. This issue arose due to the improvement in national markets and the establishment of new production and specialization ideas. The 20th century was characterized for the problems of the liberalism and the establishment of interventionism, where the fiscal spending was the main issue at the beginning of the century. Then we approach to the period of international trade, where the human being has gone throughout different circumstances that have tested him, such as the warfare, the scarcity, and others. Those stages have generated a problem of unsatisfied needs, which through the years have been passed away by means of trading. In this vein, the humankind have supplied the deficit of production of goods for consumption since Egyptians, Mayas, and other cultures. The timeline of history of trade are mainly composed by feudalism, mercantilism, physiocracy, and classic economy. After history, we studied some concepts of international trade theory, where absolute advantage is when a country imposes its production of goods without taking into account the other goods, like the United States production of cars over Colombia, and comparative advantage is when a country imposes its production taking into account the other goods, like Colombian flowers production over USA, because we are more efficient for that. Then we see the consequences of the independence of raw materials with the Hexer all-in model, where the main conclusion is that the ratio of product has increased and the trade flow has increased too, and not more concentrated between industrialized countries. Another important conclusion is that the primaries are becoming less important and the manufacturing countries become richer. The trade among rich countries is becoming intra-industrial, and the product of that, the productivity factor growth rates, have made that the prices had fallen. The new trade theory favors the richest countries and the rest of the world is poorer because of the raw material dependence and the low added value that they have. The international trade started to be globalized at the General Agreement of Tariffs and Trade, the GATT, was established after World War II, in the wake of other new multilateral institutions dedicated to international economic cooperation. Well before GATT, FORI, and Universidad, its members concluded that the GATT system was strained to adapt to a new globalizing world economy, and in Uruguay was established the WTO, the World Trade Organization, which oversees the implementation, administration, and operation of the core trade agreements and provides a forum for negotiation and for settling disputes. Also, we saw a criticism of Paul Krugman to the speculative attacks for exchange rate policy decisions. He affirmed that while people with a fixed exchange rate, people are still using local money in a relatively large amount because it has low inflation. But the demand for money has to go down once the reserves are gone, because the inflation has to climb. This fall in demand for local money balancing accompanied by a fall in domestic money supply when the public exchange allowed the command of the local money for all the remaining reserves at the central bank, producing speculation. The international trade is regulated for tariffs. There are the tributes for the trading of goods, more common in importations, but also exist in exportations. Also exists the non-tariff barriers, like the quotas, that imply a fixed number of importations that can be entered with a discount to the tariff. The preference of the national product is that the state favors the national products that compete with foreign products, with reduction of taxes. Another indirect tariff is custom procedures, where the processes to inflow merchandise are really slow and tedious, making the process more expensive and bureaucratic. Exists a number of tariff that works as an impediment for the products that use inputs that affect the environment. Finally, we approach to the economic integration, that is the regional join of economic for maximize the positive market externalities. In the short run, the integration of markets via competition causes a positive improvement in efficiency. In the long run, trade liberalization in the goods, services, capital and labor markets combined with the diffusion of technological knowledge in the large market increase efficiency and induce new investments. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up at the bottom of the image.